Welcome, Rotarians and guests. 5,447 meetings in only 110 years. Okay, 5,447th meeting of the Rotary Club is called to order. All right. I want to thank our greeting line today, Fun and Friendship. You guys were fun and friendly. Thank you so much, Fun and Friendship. I think they're looking for some new members in there too. Thank you, Michelle, and thank you, Jean Serpa, for leading us off on there. All right, we've got guest introductions. Red Badgers with microphones today. I believe we have Chelsea Souza and Hal Hendrickson. Any changes in that?
Nope.
Fantastic. Hal, since you've already got your microphone, tell us a bit about yourself.
Thank you, President Heather. I am Hal Hendrickson. I am a retired salesman from the electronics industry, and my sponsor is the fabulous President Heather Lerner.
Oh my goodness. Thank you, Hal. Chelsea, so everyone will know your name, tell us a bit about you.
Thank you, President Heather. I'm Chelsea Souza, Chief Development Officer at Pivotal. We help foster youth create the lives they want for themselves.
Oh, thank you so much.
And my sponsor is Michelle Loxon.
Yay! Thank you, thank you. Okay, thank you, of course. If you are a visiting Rotarian or if you have a guest today, please stand so our microphones can find you. It looks like Bonnie is the first one standing. Next.
Thank you, President Heather. Bonnie Bamberg, Historic Preservation Consulting, my sponsor, for all of you who don't ever see him, Jim D'Amico. And I'm so happy to introduce again Joan Escobar. I've told her she has a huge printing operation, but now I want to introduce her as the president of Idle Time Wines, because she's also a winemaker. And her application is in and we'll vote this month.
We're going to have a stampede, Bonnie. I don't know if you should have released that information, but thank you. Welcome, Joan. All righty. I believe we have a visiting Rotarian. Oh, we've got Carl in the back. Hi, Carl.
Go.
No, he doesn't have a microphone
Okay,
yet.
I've got, I talked about Youth Exchange last week. This is an outbound we had 8 years ago. She's a star. She's all over the world. She's just wonderful. She's going to talk later. This is her mom, Dina. That's Julia. And this is her boyfriend, Alex.
Well, welcome. I look forward to sharing some stage time with you in just a little bit. Okay, my eyes are going.
Heather, Mike Conniff.
Hi, Mike.
I'm pleased to introduce our guest here, Elizabeth Fountain, who is a banker back in New York, but she's visiting with her family up in our house up in the hills. So we're going to go visit the Roben's Ranch, among other delightful things. Thank you.
Welcome.
Hello. I come from the land of Mahatma Gandhi, the great son of India, who has given the message of non-violence to the entire mankind, like Martin Luther King here. I joined Rotary in 1974. Incidentally, this appears to be my 50th year of Rotary. Served the district in many capacities, almost all the capacities, right after the Lieutenant Governor of the district. It's my pleasure to be with this club. This is the magic of Rotary. What Rotary has given us, that anywhere you go in the world, you have friends there.
Wonderful. We're glad to see you back again. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. And I'm sorry that we last here. 50 years of Rotary. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Wonderful to see you.
Hello, President Heather.
Hi, Sal Pizarro.
My guest today is my daughter, or Amy and I's daughter, Mia, who is an incoming sophomore at Notre Dame High School.
Yay!
Good afternoon, everyone. I am
such a
Snehal from Rotary Club of Dombivli, Mumbai, and RI District 3142. I am president-elect for 25-26 year, and I like that I am with you because this club is very great of having 400 members, and my club is also having 60 plus members, but this year is our Diamond Jubilee year, 60 years old, and my club is specially having the Rotary School for Deaf and Dumb. 200 students we are educating per year in our club. That is the regular practice. We are doing so many projects and that we will discuss, and this is the great opportunity for me that I am with you all, and this is the Rotary magic, we say. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I look forward to, we'll be exchanging slides with you in a little while, not just yet. All right, Sarju.
Hi, President Heather. We have time for a couple quick visitor introductions.
You betcha.
Okay, I'm coming out of order. I apologize. So, first, Sean Rao. This is his second time coming, and he has submitted his application. He's the
Nice
the
to
president,
see you.
president owner of Superior Fence and Rail of San Jose, and Beth Williams. If you can please stand up. So Beth is with Peninsula College Fund, and remember that couple meetings ago where I said get out your phones and text someone? So one of our guests, Michelle Hoover, who was here that day, texted Beth, and here she is.
Wow.
It works, people.
You Rotary person of action, you.
Thank
That's
you.
fantastic. Yeah. All right. Any other guests? Oh, yes, please. Hello.
Hello, I'm Pranjali, and I'm working as a regulatory affairs manager here at Thermo Fisher. And today I'm accompanying my mom, Snehal. She's the Rotarian who has come from India. Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So glad to have you in the room. All right, I think that's it for visiting guests and Rotarians. Traveling mics, I'm going to have you hop in today. What I've heard is this is the hardest job of the president is to maintain order and time during Ring the Bell. So, all right. We've got our Ring the Bell. For those that don't know in the room, Ring the Bell is when we get to celebrate, to honor, even air something that might be bothering you. You need a little bit of love in the room and you want us to know about it. We're here for you. Good times, bad times, all the things. And it looks like I've already got one. Tim, how can we help today?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Tim Gill, and I'm plaintiff's personal injury attorney. My sponsor is past President David Down, who joined in 1953 and has had perfect attendance for 71 years. I want to ring the bell because on February 5th, 2019, there was a fire at the Fuji Sushi restaurant, who's one of our tenants. Last month, they finally opened, and I think they've got the best sushi in town, so please give them some love. They are on Santa Clara Street between 1st and Market Street, so I want to ring the bell once. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tim Gill. One ring.
Hey, President Heather, I want to ring the bell 12 times.
What?
Whoa!
Did you guys read the paper this morning? Our police family is heartbroken. We're in mourning. We lost a community service officer on Sunday. Now, I don't know if you know this, but I know you know that our police force is understaffed, but we have community service officers who do the non-risky work. Anyway, I'm going to talk about him, but since I'm doing 1200, I snuck a couple of slides in there, Heather.
This might have been premeditated. I can be bought, is what he's telling you.
So I'm just going to talk about what I've heard, what I did the research in the last year. This is Erin Allen. She's a cop of ours. She's been on the force 10 years. In August 16th last year, she was called domestic disturbance. She had a bulletproof vest on. The perpetrator actually ambushed her and shot her just below the vest. She's she's out of surgery, but she may never work again. She's married to her husband there, Neil. He's also one of our San Jose cops. So I'm going to ring twice for them, but don't ring yet. You probably read about Jaime Arendo and Joseph DeRoche. Just in May it happened. They were in domestic violence. They were shot at by the perpetrator. That's a picture of Jaime. That's after 3 surgeries. He can walk now. I don't have a picture of Joseph. He was only shot in the leg, and he's still recovering at home. He'll be back on the force soon. And then here's Long Fan. He's the guy who died on Sunday doing community service support of our officers who were investigating an accident scene, and all he was doing was moving traffic around with Veronica there. There was a drunk driver. Boom. He died on the spot. Veronica had a jaw fracture and some broken bones. She's going to be back on the force. So I want to ring 2 rings each for these 5. But one other thing I want to tell you about is that I don't want you to mourn these people. I want you to celebrate them. Our cops are the best in the world. They risk themselves every day. And once a year, the Police Foundation gives out awards to about 25 of our, about 1,500 overall, who have done things that you and I don't even know about, just like the 5 of these. You barely know about these folks. So put September 12th on your calendar. Show up at the DoubleTree Hotel. Yeah, sure, you can give money, but that's not the point. The point is, when we show up for our cops once a year for these awards and see the heroism that is going on every day, people are just thrilled, and they are more motivated than ever. So please ring the bell 12 times. Celebrate our cops.
Thank you, Carl. Beautiful. Emily Roben.
It's a tough
Emily
act to
Roben, for
follow.
those in the back.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm Emily Roben. I'd like to ring the bell one time to say hi to my sister, who's watching us on Zoom from LA today.
Thank you. That was beautiful. I think we've got Ad Korea.
From the Department of Self-Promotion.
Excellent.
Every year there's a major contest in my industry to recognize the top 501 IT providers on the planet. We came in number 58 this year.
Fantastic. Is that 58 rings or what? One. Okay. One for Ed Korea. Hi, Steve. This is Steve Prouty.
How are you doing? Well, after 50 years of working, I retired about 2 months ago. So let's ring the bell 5 times.
Wow. Thank you, Steve. I see Sarah Klish with the microphone in her hand, then it looks like Tom Bondi.
Yes, you do. I would like to ring the bell once to selflessly promote the upcoming concert for Mission Valley Chorus on August 24th, Saturday, 2 and 7 p.m. We will have joining us the 5th place International Barbershop Men's Quartet. It is going to be a super fun opportunity to hear fantastic a cappella music, so please join us.
Thank you, Sarah. You guys go see Sarah afterwards and get some information. Tom.
Hi, President Heather. I want to ring the bell once to celebrate my father-in-law, Vic Corsilia, still coming and joining us.
I love that. Thank you, Tom Bondi. And thank you, Vic. All right.
President Heather?
Oh, hi, Leslie.
I'd like to ring the bell in honor of Tudo joining us today. She's able to do so because her husband's recovered sufficiently that she's able to come today.
Oh, I love that. Thank you so much. Great to see you. Anyone else? Kathleen Thomas would like one. She's not just a photographer. She'd like to ring the bell.
Hello, President Heather. Kathleen
Hi.
Thomas, retired. Yay.
Yeah.
I wanted to ring the bell one time for Tori, who's done such a great job taking over and filling in. Thank you so much.
I love that. Thank you. All right, I think that's ring the bell. We're doing great. I'm going to welcome up next Around Town with Sal Pizarro.
Nicely done. I got a little bit of time. Well, before I get into what's going on over the next few weeks, I do want to take a moment, since I'm talking about around town and downtown, to acknowledge that one of San Jose's really creative giants has been tossed around as a phrase. Chris Esparza passed away on Sunday. And it is, the impact he's had on San Jose over the past 30 years has just been amazing, and it's in things like Winter Wonderland, the Jazz Fest. If you've ever went to Blackbird Tavern, if you went to Negley Park Garage, Fuel 44, Ajax. He's been doing some work at the Mexican Heritage Plaza for the past few years and is really trying to make that area a cultural hub for San Jose, and he will be missed, but I'm so glad we had him. So I just want to take a moment to acknowledge his passing, and y'all be writing more about that tomorrow. But let's move on to some things I know Chris would have loved because he loved connection. And the first thing on my list is this is my favorite weekend coming up in downtown San Jose, and that is because it is San Jose Jazz Summerfest weekend. Huge number of performers, Herbie Hancock leading off, being the headliner on Saturday night, but there are so many things going on. The Latin Tropical stage, there's two free stages, the swing stage with big bands taking place at San Pedro Square Market, the Next Gen stage featuring, of course, the next generation of musicians at the San Jose Museum of Art. Those are both free, but there's the blues stage, the Latin Tropical stage, the J. Paul Company main stage. They're in the California Theater this year, which is fantastic. And of course, you've got the intimate venue, the San Jose Jazz Break Room in the old Valley Title Building, and the Montgomery Theater. Now that CMTSJ finished up Rent last weekend, so there's no conflicts there. I heard your little Rent reference earlier. So it's a fantastic weekend. Now, what am I looking most forward to seeing? Is it Herbie Hancock? Maybe. Is it the Spanish Harlem Jazz Orchestra? Maybe. But in fact, what it is the show in itself that is Larry Stone's shorts. I'm looking forward to seeing what Larry wears this year. He's always a fun guy to have around during the Jazz Festival. Okay, what else is coming up? We've got another one of our block parties happening August 15th. This one is Paseo de San Antonio, stretching from San Jose State all the way to Plaza de Cesar Chavez. Businesses are going to be out. New Campus Burgers has recently opened. They gave out 1,000 free hamburgers their first day. I hear they're going to be giving out more free burgers on August 15th. But there's so much to explore, so many restaurants and other venues to see along the Paseo de San Antonio. It's right here in our backyard. We should check it out August 15th, starting around 5:30. And of course, this is Pride Month in San Jose, where we're so lucky we get to have Pride twice, once in June and once in August. It's starting August 19th is officially Pride Week. There's a bunch of events going on, Pride flag raising, trivia night, movie night. There's the Pobladores Night Market in SoFa will have a Pride edition on that Thursday. And of course, there is the Parade and Festival. Festival takes place on Saturday, August 24th. That is a Saturday, right? From 6 to 11 p.m. The next day is the festival or parade, August 25th, 10:30 to noon, going downtown to Plaza Cesar Chavez, where the festival will continue afterwards until 6 o'clock. That's a great time to get out, explore San Jose. It's always a fun week, amazing people watching, so much fun. Speaking of fun, Lisa Millett's in the house, I see her. And of course, they are in the middle of their run of Richard O'Brien's Rocky Horror Show, and SV Pride is your nonprofit partner for that show. Amy and I took the kids to see it last week. If you've only seen the movie, see the stage show. It is so much fun, there's so much energy. They close on August 25th, coinciding with the Pride Festival. And on August 16th, 11:59 p.m., if you're this kind of person, and I think you all are, they are having a midnight show. So imagine you get up, have a late dinner, get out there, you'll be home by 2. Don't worry about it. But you'll have so much fun. So, tickets, cltc.org. I know it's gotten rave reviews, and I know tickets are selling, but I think there might be space at that midnight show for you, Steve Ellenberg. You should think about that. Okay, so that's what's going around downtown, and I'll see you guys next month.
Wait, that was a really fun lineup. There are a lot of things I want to attend on there. All right, Julia, can you make your way to the stage? During this awkward silence, it's so fun to walk up during that. Let's give her some walk-on applause. Thank you, Julia.
No worries.
Yeah, get through my team has me. You got it.
Okay. All right, perfect. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'm here to talk a little bit about my Rotary Exchange journey. So my name is Julia Casanova-Moore, and I was a Rotary Youth Exchange student sponsored by Rotary in 2019. So I was sent to Spain, more specifically a place called Logroño, La Rioja. From 2019 to 2020, I was sponsored by San Jose. Thank you very much. And this kind of jump-started, kind of kick-started my love for exchange, for learning about language, culture, and a little bit of, not a little bit, a lot of an influence on what I did for university. So during this time, what I've lived through in university and during my exchange, I lived through 5 very important events. I like to come here and update you guys on what I've been doing since you guys sponsored me. So number 1, the global pandemic, as we all know, quite a crazy event. It happened smack in the middle of my Rotary Youth Exchange. So it was definitely something that I had to navigate. All ended up okay, but it was definitely a unique touch to my exchange. Continuing my love for exchange and language acquisition, I went on to university. I'm attending currently the George Washington University, the Elliott School of International Affairs, And while I was there, I saw that they had a program called the Global Bachelor's Program. And this program I applied to, I was selected for it, and it requires me to study abroad during 3 different semesters during my undergraduate experience. So cue the different semesters that I went abroad. The first time I went to Belfast, Northern Ireland, I studied at Queen's University, and the second important event happened while I was there. Unfortunately, Queen Elizabeth died. And if you look over here, I took this picture as I was walking around Northern Ireland downtown the day that she died. A bunch of people put out flowers, and there was a bunch of remembrance for her. Following along, I went and did my second study abroad at the Pontificia Universidad Católica en Argentina, so in Buenos Aires. And while I was there, the picture doesn't seem to be coming up, but the picture is of the obelisco in the downtown of Buenos Aires. But anyway, there was record inflation in Argentina, and of course, the whole saga of the election was happening while I was there, and Javier Milei won the Argentine election, so quite an interesting time to be there. Following that, I did my last of my 3 study abroads in Madrid, and I went to UAM. And then while I was there, the Prime Minister, Pedro Sanchez, announced that he may step down during his term. So that was quite a dramatic moment for Spanish government because they would be left without a prime minister, and that would have been good. Spoiler, he ended up not stepping down. But for a second there, people were a little scared. So I was there during that happened. And now finally, I will be returning to GW to finish up my last year in DC. Currently, while I've been here over the summer, I was serving as a congressional intern in the office of Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren, so kind of took a deep dive into politics. It was very interesting. I learned a whole bunch, and it couldn't have been a better time for me to have been there because there's a historic election coming up in November, and I will be smack in the middle of it in DC, watching everything unfold. So very interesting time to be a student in DC. So yeah, I've been living internationally and living out history as it happens on a global stage. So I wanted to come over here and say, Rotary, I started this journey 5 years ago. Thank you for always supporting me and kickstarting my love for learning. I really learning on the international stage, we'll say. And this is a picture of me on my first exchange when I was 16, and my host family picked me up at the airport. Come a long way since then, but I really appreciate all the support and kindness you guys have shown, and I'm glad to be able to share my story with you. Thank you so much. Oh, sure.
Thank you so much. I know I still say Buenos Aires, so I'm wondering how she said it in 2016. All righty. Thank you. Something you need to know about Julia is that obviously you are a powerhouse, and we are so excited to be part of your story, and that Rotary will always be part of your story. And she self-selected. She wanted to come here and tell us her story. I mean, what leadership that takes. Thank you so much, Julia. Wonderful. I just have a brief president's remark. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. Let's just do a flag exchange. And please join me on stage while we do a quick flag exchange, and then we'll get to our featured speaker. While she's making her way up here, I really want to thank Johnson Franizak. He was doing our live lobby jazz music. That was to get you in the mood for San Jose jazz. Thank you, Jonathan. I know you're having lunch with us right now. Beautiful, beautiful. We don't have time for remarks. Just come on up and we'll exchange flags. Please. We want to tilt where the light is, so we don't get you in this terrible. Tell me where to stand. Give me a spike tape. Okay. No, I can't. I don't have time to. But, on behalf of the Rotary Club of San Jose, I am proud to present this flag for you to take back to the home club. Thank you.
On the behalf of Rotary Club of Domboli, Arai District 3142, Mumbai, I like to exchange the flag.
Thank you so much. I need At this time, I'd like to welcome up Matt Roben, who's going to be doing our guest introduction, and that shouldn't surprise anybody.
Today's speaker is my favorite person and the love of my life. Maybe you should have picked someone else for this. Dr. Emily Roben graduated from Monte Vista High School in Cupertino. She attended Stanford University, where she played on the varsity field hockey team, completed her post-baccalaureate pre-medical training at San Jose State University, and did all of her medical training at Northwestern University in Chicago. You got it. She holds a master's degree in healthcare quality and patient safety. She is a pediatric emergency physician, associate professor of pediatrics and emergency medicine, and the director for quality and safety in the pediatric emergency department at UCSF Benioff Children's Hospital in Oakland. In her spare time, Emily is an award-winning yarn artist, the director of social media and graphic design for the Fem and Pem conference, and is the co-founder of Rancho Roben Rescues, providing a forever home for 186 plus farm animals, every one of which she named and can identify and name. Almost immediately upon joining the Rotary Club of San Jose in 2022, she began utilizing her skills in quality and process improvement to make small but meaningful changes in the club. And today she will talk to us about how we can all incorporate scientific principles of human behavior to make meaningful changes in our work and lives.
Okay, hi. I give a lot of talks and I'm so much more nervous to be in front of so many people who I know and respect. It's a little easier when it's a room full of strangers, but anyway, thank you for having me. I'm going to talk today about behavior change and habit formation, and my goal is to give you some practical information that you can maybe take home with you and use to make some small but meaningful changes in your life, maybe your work life, maybe with some of the groups that you work with. As Matt mentioned, I'm a physician, so I do a tremendous amount of educating and coaching patients and families about what behaviors might be contributing to or taking away from their health. And in my non-clinical work, I direct quality and safety projects, which basically means that every single day I'm asking people to change their behaviors in order to improve the processes of care. And I have just a personal interest in behavioral economics and the psychology of decision making. So I've turned all of that into this evidence-based presentation that I've delivered in a number of contexts. I will tell you that I've never done it in less than 60 minutes, and I chopped it all down, so don't worry, but just consider this like a taster. And, you know, join me in Chicago in 6 months if you want to hear the whole 65-minute version of it. Okay, so we're going to jump right in, and we're going to do this kind of book club style. So you all got the pre-reading and finished all the books? Okay, got it. This is just a small selection of the vast array of books on this topic. And so it's sort of going to be like a lightning round book club where I've already consumed all of these books. Maybe you've read some of these. And I'm going to hit the highlights and give you some take-home points from each one. My style, as you can already tell, is to like move pretty quickly and to talk pretty fast and keep it dense. I'm happy to talk more about any of these topics later. And I'm just going to fit as much as I can into the next 16 minutes or so. So we're going to jump right into the first book, which is called Atomic Habits. I will also tell you that some of these authors are fascinating, very impressive and interesting people, but just time constraint wise, I can't give you all the background on these folks. But if you want to ask me about the authors later, happy to talk about them. So Atomic Habits is a book that really the big core thing that he talks about in here is how to create a new habit. If you want to create a new habit, it needs to have 4 key components. It needs to be obvious, attractive, easy, and satisfying. So obvious is the time and location for this new habit makes sense, that there are noticeable cues to have this new habit in your life. Attractive, it has to have some kind of reward or positive sensation associated with it. It's going to be impossible to have a new habit if it physically hurts you. It needs to be easy. You need to reduce the friction, maybe make it automatic or pair it with something that you already do. And it needs to be satisfying. And an immediate reward is a lot more satisfying than a delayed reward for a lot of us. Tracking progress also for somebody like me who wants, you know, the gold stars on the chart can be really helpful, although understandably some people find tracking a little overwhelming. So let's say you wanted to, you know, start taking your multivitamin every day and you just cannot seem to remember to do it. Maybe you're going to pair it with every single time you are making your coffee in the morning, you're going to take your vitamins while you're waiting for the coffee to brew. And you're going to leave the vitamin bottle out on the counter, so it's very easy and obvious and that you remember to do it. And you're going to buy the vitamins in like a flip top instead of the one where you have to like push on it and turn it and ask your spouse to open it every time. And maybe you're going to buy like the yummy gummy vitamins instead of the yucky ones that you have to swallow like a pill so that you actually enjoy it and it like sort of feels like you're eating candy in the morning. So that would be how you might make a new habit of taking a vitamin. I leave the vitamins in the bathroom I take right before I take a shower. I'm gonna keep just reading off of here, even though oh, there it is. So if you wanted to break a habit, you're gonna do the opposite of these things. You're gonna make whatever it is that you're doing and trying to stop doing invisible, unappealing, hard, or unsatisfying. So Steve was telling me earlier that he like really wants to stop eating so many bagels because it's just a lot of carbs and I don't want these bagels in my life. So let's make the bagels invisible. Let's put them in a cabinet where you can't see them, or better yet, don't even buy them, right? I don't know how you could make a bagel unappealing or unsatisfying, so you're not gonna be able to do it for all of them, but anything you can do to make that habit a little bit harder. Buy the bagels that are in like a really annoying package that you just hate opening it, and then you'll be less inclined to eat them, okay? When you're trying to make or break a new habit, you want to set a goal. And many of you have probably heard this acronym SMART. You want your goal to be specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, you could say, there's way too much landfill waste at weekly Rotary meetings, and we should do better. That is a great goal, to do better, okay? But this is not a SMART goal. How about this? Starting on July 10th, we will no longer use disposable plates and flatware. We will aim to generate a maximum of 1 garbage bag of landfill waste each week. This is extremely specific. It's definitely achievable, time-bound, relevant, all of these things. So just remember, some is not a number, and soon is not a time. We want to be specific and smart with our goals. So some takeaways from this book. Making a habit, breaking a habit, make sure your goals are smart. Okay, moving right along. I love this author, Daniel Pink. This book really hit home for me. The last book was really talking a lot about personal habits and helping yourself make behavior changes. This one's a little bit more about encouraging change in the groups of people that you work with. So with any activity or assignment, humans need to have some kind of a motivation to do that behavior. And the motivation can either be external, like you're rewarded for doing it or you're punished in some way, or an internal motivation. You really desire to succeed, to change, you have a genuine interest, really inherent satisfaction. Matt Roben wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day to let the chickens out and feed the dogs. He doesn't do that because there's a bit of a punishment associated with like leaving 50 hens locked up in a coop all day. There is a little bit of downside to that, right? But the real reason he does it is because it is inherently satisfying and he genuinely wants to do this task. So think about like if you were trying to get someone to do their homework. If you just say, I'll give you $20 every time you finish your math homework, you're not generating that true enthusiasm and capitalizing on that student's actual desire to succeed. So focusing only on the external stimuli in order to get people to accomplish something is quite short-sighted, and it doesn't capitalize on this natural tendency that we have to create and succeed and improve. So the behaviors associated with these opposing types of motivation, this author calls type I behavior and type X behavior. I for intrinsic or internal, behaviors that are motivated internally. And then type X behavior is fueled by external mandates rather than internal motivation. You can tell somebody a million times to do something, but until they really genuinely feel internally motivated to do it, it's not going to be a sustainable change. In general, type I behavior leads to longer-term success. If you want to develop type I behavior, here's how you do it. autonomy, mastery, and purpose, and fostering these things in the people in whom you are trying to develop type I behavior. So here are some examples. If you want to generate type I behavior, let's say in your family members or your teammates or your trainees or the people who work under you, you want to let those people make choices. What can they work on and when? Give them some amount of autonomy. Give those team members the opportunity to gain some kind of expertise. Maybe they can get a promotion, they can get a certificate, they can get some kind of title or degree that makes them feel like they have expertise in this area. And make it clear why you're doing the work. What is the purpose of this? If you wanted to generate type X behavior, which you don't, but if you did these things, you might, if you're extremely strict about parameters for getting things done, if you reward results and not effort, and if you offer very short-term rewards, like money or treats or like pizza for showing up to a meeting, this is going to generate type X behavior, which isn't going to be sustainable over time. Perhaps some of this looks familiar to the habit formation stuff. If we want to generate type I behavior, we want those behaviors to be attractive and satisfying and obvious, and type X behaviors maybe when things are more difficult or more unsatisfying. Make sense? I see so many nods. It's really making me happy. So, summary from this book, we want to encourage and strive for type I behavior to internally motivate our colleagues, our teammates, our trainees, our employees, and ourselves. Daniel Pink wrote another one called When. I love this book. This one talks about sort of the peaks in energy in everyday life. Every animal has a peak and a trough and a rebound. You might be hitting your trough right now because of the lunch, but just like stick with me, okay? You've also maybe heard of chronotypes, right? You've got night owls, people who are like late night people, and morning people that can be called larks and owls. There's also a third bird, people who really peak at like middle of the day. So all things, inspiration and creativity and your work are all gonna fluctuate with these natural rhythms of the day. So could you schedule your meetings or your working sessions at times when people feel most motivated? I'm a morning person. I am going to schedule meetings at 6 and 7 o'clock in the morning. I do a lot of work with the conference Matt was telling you about that I kind of create. They're in Cincinnati, which is East Coast time. 6 a.m. meetings like work really well for me. But maybe you are not a morning person, and so you want to actually have 3 p.m. meetings or 4 p.m. meetings. If you have to work at a tough time, what can you do to make it better and happier? If I'm ever scheduled for a 4 p.m. meeting, you better believe I am drinking like a non-fat vanilla latte while it is happening so that I can make that a little bit more enjoyable for myself. We all have peaks and troughs and rebounds through the day, so schedule your day accordingly. Ask your boss, hey, could I actually work on that project in the morning instead of in the afternoon because I think I'm going to be more successful at it then. And really try to work the margins. You're going to probably have very little free time, so try and squeeze in work when you can. Perhaps you've seen me get to Rotary early with Matt. He's setting up the AV. My laptop is open and I am busting through some emails in the 20 minutes before everybody else arrives. That's just how I work that margin. Taking breaks, as you know, is very important. I don't need to tell you why breaks are important, but I will tell you how you can make your breaks most meaningful and helpful. Some amount of break is better than no break. A 30-second break is better than no break at all. A moving break is better than sitting. So stand up, walk around the room, that can be your break. Oops. Taking a break with others for most people feels better than a break by yourself. That is absolutely not true for me. I'm not that into people. I like to take a break by myself, but most people like to take a break with a group. If you can get outside, get a little sunlight and fresh air, that's better than staying inside, and you need to be fully detached for this to be a break. It doesn't count as a break if you're sitting by yourself at your desk checking your email. That is not a break. If you really need to check email, stand up and go outside and check some email. At least that sort of feels like a break. Synchronizing, I think, is such an interesting concept. Team members function best when they are in sync with each other, when the team members feel like they belong. Physical and emotional synchrony are self-perpetuating. So what could you do to make everyone in your group or in your workplace feel like they are in sync with each other? Perhaps you could sit at round tables all together, eating lunch at the same time and face the same direction. Maybe that'll make you feel like you're in sync with your team members and club members, right? When a basketball team is about to take the court, they are all putting their hands in physically together and touching each other and saying the exact same thing at the exact same time with their arms in the exact same motion to get themselves in sync with each other. If you've ever seen a musical group, a choir moving in sync, it is it is truly to get them all in the same rhythm. So what could you do to make your teammates feel like you are all working in sync together? This is an awesome article published by a buddy that I used to work with, where they had surgical teams physically stand in a circle. This was like the scrub nurse, the surgeon, anybody who was going to be in the operating room, stand in a circle. They did like a silly little improvisation exercise just all together, and then they each said what their goal was, and the patients, ooh, I get goosebumps talking about it. The patients taken care of by these teams did better. They had fewer adverse outcomes. So these teams functioned better because they were truly in sync with each other. Okay, so takeaways from this book. Capitalize on the rhythms of your day, take meaningful breaks, and try and synchronize whenever you can to improve teamwork. This book is awesome. It's written by John List. If you ever want to feel bad about yourself, just look up John List on Wikipedia. He's unbelievable. This book is called How to Make Good Ideas Great and Great Ideas Scale. The voltage effect is this term that he coined, which is the change that occurs when a project tries to move from small to large scale and it just doesn't work. The effect you saw in your pilot situation is not working when you apply to a larger setting or over a longer period of time. There are a lot of reasons why this might happen, but to make an idea work at scale, you want to replicate your work in multiple small scenarios before you try and scale up. Just because it worked once doesn't mean it's going to work again. And you really want to try and create interventions and programs that do not rely on a specific individual. Human beings are not scalable. We're trying to implement this new scheduling system in the emergency department right now, and I've been going in every day at 7 a.m. to make sure everybody is assigned to the correct room. It's not sustainable. It's like getting us going, but we need to develop a system where Emily Roben doesn't need to be in Oakland every single morning at 7 a.m. because that is not happening, okay? So if you want to win one of those Rotary Programs of Scale grants, maybe you want to demonstrate to the selection committee that you have tried a small project, you've replicated it, you've seen that it doesn't have any unintended costs or consequences, and that this is a project that doesn't rely on any one specific individual, and then maybe you'll win all kinds of money to scale up the project that you've been working on. Also, if your project isn't working, it's okay to stop. Every project isn't going to scale, and that is okay. Think of quitting as pivoting. You're moving to something different. Summary of this book: there's a lot of reasons why an idea might fail to scale, but you are going to hopefully scale properly if you can replicate and not rely on specific people. Human beings are impossible to scale, as surely you have experienced when, let's say, one crucial member of an administrative team goes away for several months for some reason. This is the last one I'm going to tell you about, and it might seem like a silly title, How to Make People Like You in 90 Seconds or Less. But the thing is that when it comes to the workplace and teams, it's really difficult to generate any momentum or behavior change if people don't like you. You need to at least try a little bit to get people to like you at least a little bit. Sorry to break it to you. So, first contact, warmth, smile, eye contact. Build some rapport. Maybe it's natural rapport. Oh, you have horses, I have horses. Or maybe it's completely rapport by design, like, what a cool blazer. Anything you can do to generate a conversation with somebody. Actions and synchrony. Again, try to match the body language of the people that you're trying to work with. If everyone in the room is sitting and you are standing over talking to them, that might not feel that good. Same thing, if everyone in the room is frantically moving around getting their work done and you're the boss and you're sitting back with your feet up, that doesn't synchronize very well. Try and row your boat alongside the team members that you're trying to work with. Attitude. Ideally, you'll maintain a positive attitude. That's not always possible. Ideally, positive, but sharing attitude with the people you're working with is much more important than being fake positive. Some useful attitudes you might try to emulate when you are particularly meeting new people and trying to get them to like you. You're warm, you're cheerful, you're positive, you're engaging. Maybe try and avoid being sarcastic or pessimistic or mocking or rude. Obviously, we all feel these things at some times. I'm not telling you not to feel them. I'm saying when you are trying to generate rapport with somebody, when you're trying to get team members to work with you, try your best to emulate a useful attitude. When you are talking with somebody, you want to listen. Use opening words, not questions that generate yes or no answers. And then you want to actually listen, not just wait for your turn to talk. If you are trying to get people to like you, which again, not every situation is people trying, you getting people to, them get, you, You getting them to like you. If you want people to like you, don't interrupt, don't end their sentence for them, don't complain, don't criticize, don't condemn. Just try and stay positive. So these were the take-homes from how to make people like you. I can see Heather in my periph. That's good, because I'm on the last slide. So we talked about the structure for making or breaking a habit. We talked about motivation, timing of activities and taking breaks, how to scale up a project, how to make people like you. I hope you'll take this idea of synchrony home with you, take it to your workplace and really think about that. And I want to thank you so, so much. This is me with my sister last month. Please let me know if you employ any of these things in your life. Let me know how it went, and I'm happy to take questions. Thank you.
Great. All right, Red Badgers with those microphones. Let's see some hands in the air for Emily. All right.
Hi,
Fantastic.
Emily. Thank you so much for that. I think it was a really valuable presentation for us. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you incorporate some of the Bruce Tuckman change model behavior in that, which is norming, storming, forming, and performing?
Yes, I love this. So norming, storming, wait, say it again. Norming, forming, norming, storming, performing. So you're gonna form your group, you're gonna like brainstorm together as a group. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like it's a little tumultuous, and then you kind of form a team together, and then you perform. So there's definitely that kind of like ebb and flow when you start with a new group, sort of like feeling out the personality of this tall dude in a kilt. Like, I'm not sure how we jive, right? Like learning each other's rhythms, right? Learning each other's when is the best time that we work. Are we gonna maybe break into 2 separate groups because we have got some morning people and some evening people, or some people who like to have standing meetings versus stationary meetings. So it's all kind of part of that. It's not like it just magically comes together. That's a great point. Uh-oh. Oh, I'll let you call on people.
We've got Janica over. Oh, run, please.
Yeah.
Was I the uh-oh?
Yeah.
This should be a lesson for every young politician. Every person who wants to go into public life should study what you've just given.
Oh, thanks.
So why don't you write a book?
What? Say that last part again.
Why don't you write a book?
Oh, in my vast free time, I've been brainstorming some ideas about a book I might write. I don't know, to be honest, there are people who study that. This is like what John List does for a living, and I feel like my strength is a bit more in synthesizing and coaching and teaching information. Someday, maybe I'll write a book, although I'll be honest with you, if I ever do write a book, it'll be about my family. But that's a great point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janica.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, so in your day-to-day life as a pediatric ER doc, I'm wondering, you get such limited time with families and kids to talk about behavior change, especially if there is, the health implications. How do you start that, and then what do you see from our healthcare perspective as continuing that behavior change? Who is involved in all of that, and how do you get that process going?
It's a really good and a very hard question. Luckily for me, working in the emergency department, I don't have those same tiny 18-minute windows that a primary care physician might have. And luckily I work in big enough teams that I often do get a chance to literally sit with a family for 30 or 40 minutes at a time. And a chunk of this that I ended up taking out just in the interest of time was about motivational interviewing. So really meeting somebody where they're at with I noticed that you are still eating those bagels, and we had talked about maybe not doing that. Tell me where you're at, what do you, right? And so sort of get that person to talk to me about what they're doing that they maybe want to change, so that they genuinely feel like they're the one who said it, that it wasn't, oh, the doctor told me I have to get my flu vaccine. It's more like, I do want my kids to be healthy, and I really don't want them to miss school, so yeah, I guess we should do the vaccine. So sometimes I have to truncate it. I'm also a super fast talker, so I can a lot of times squeeze some coaching into very few minutes, but it has to be very continuous, right? I have to trust that the primary care physician is going to continue that conversation once it's been started in the emergency department. Does that answer your question, sort of? Yeah, okay.
Fantastic. I've got Sarah Klish next.
So I have a two-parter. One is just oftentimes you hear you need to do something X number of times, right, in order to change one's behavior. So I'm just wondering. And then my second piece is, of all of the things that you're employing yourself, what do you find to be the most impactful that helps you keep moving forward?
Those are such great questions. In terms of the number of times you have to do something to really incorporate it, I've heard the number 8 for some reason. Like, you've got to taste avocado 8 times before you're willing to like really incorporate that into your palate. I don't honestly believe that. I think it's really more about like, how big of a change is this thing, right? Like, if I'm trying to take my vitamins, I'm gonna do that one day and it's gonna be fine, and then I'm gonna do it for the rest of my life, as opposed to if I'm trying to fully give up bagels, like, that's gonna take a lot of time. So I think it really, really depends. I think the consistency is important. I think tracking is important. I think holding yourself accountable, whether that's yourself with like stickers on a sticker chart or your buddy that you're both gonna work out 3 times a week, I think that accountability is really important. The second part of your question was, what do I feel like is the most impactful? For me, it's pairing things. So if there's something I really want to start doing, I have to pair it with something I already do, and ideally something I already do that I like. I love taking a shower. It's my favorite part of the day. So, and I'm gonna take a shower every day because it feels really good. So I have my vitamin bottle right there in the bathroom so that I will always take my vitamins. I love listening to podcasts. I don't love being on the treadmill, but if I can listen to a podcast while I'm on the treadmill, then I'll do it. And the only time I listen to a podcast is if I'm on the treadmill, so I always pair those things together. So I find pairing to be super helpful.
Wonderful. Megan and then Ed.
Thank
Sorry.
you, Emily. I loved your talk. Thank you so much for reading all of these books for us. How do you bring this into your relationship with a certain kilt wearer?
You know, he doesn't know necessarily sometimes when I'm trying to employ some of these things. Like making something really, like leaving something out on the counter to make it really obvious. But truthfully, like, I would never try and change Matt. I wouldn't change a thing about him.
Ed.
Okay, this is really quick, and I'm glad that you already responded about this. I'd love to see a weekly podcast from you.
Oh,
it's so consumable, the information you shared, and you're so funny.
Oh,
I think it'd
thank
be a
you.
huge hit.
You know, it's interesting you say that. Matt used to host a podcast called What Can You Tell Me? And it was awesome. He would interview just like interesting people about like, what can you tell me about Diridon Station? Or what can you tell me about your technology company? And he has all this like really beautiful, high quality podcasting equipment. We've actually been talking about maybe starting a weekly podcast where we like maybe interview Rotarians or I don't know. So again, in my like vast free time, I'll add that to the list. Thank you for saying it. Thank you.
Great question, Ed. We have time for a couple more.
I'm a fast
not
talker.
just a photographer. She has a question. Oh,
Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Emily, when you start incorporating a new behavior and then perhaps you slip,
Sure.
what are your thoughts about how to get back on track?
You know, depending on who you ask, that may be disastrous or maybe not. I don't know if you guys have read anything by Jerry Seinfeld, but he has this like strict rule for like 40 years. He writes a joke or more every single day. And he's like, you cannot miss a day. And James Clear would probably tell you the same thing, the one who wrote Atomic Habits. If you miss a day, it's over, it's a disaster, and just that like threat in your mind is enough to like not miss, although that's completely counter to the like type X and type I behavior, right? If you're internally motivated to do something, it's gonna be okay if you eat a bagel one day. Sorry I keep using that example, it just is on my mind because they're so delicious, but it's okay, eat a bagel one time, but then refocus on your goal. I find it very helpful to have the goal written out, literally written out. It's in front of me on my desk. Maybe it's the number of pounds you're gonna lose or the number of times that you're gonna do strength training this week or whatever it is, and just look at it again and remind yourself. But I don't think aiming for perfection is ever gonna be perfect, right? We're not aiming for 0 landfill waste, we're aiming for 1 bag, right? So it's not a disaster if somebody uses a paper cup today and throws it away. That is not a disaster.
Great. Maggie.
Thank you. Emily, that was great.
Thanks.
That really was great. And I like the way you folded in Rotary into all of this because we have chairs that run committees, and yes, there's teams. And my question is, you talked about I and X, right? I'm surprised the pizza didn't work.
It's like a temporary fix,
you know,
right? I think
I'm just bringing it up as
Yeah.
fun, but But motivation, it brings up motivation with your team.
It
How
also,
do you instill that?
I think it also, it depends, right? Like, let's say you're like, okay, we gotta crank out this project and I'm gonna give everybody pizza so that you stay at work late and get this thing done. That's a great way to get that one project done. But that's not gonna make people work hard on every project in the future. However, let's say you have, I don't know, what committee are you on? Fair enough. Let's say it's the pause committee. And you're like, we're going to have a monthly pause committee meeting at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday before the Rotary meeting starts. And in order to encourage people to come, to make it satisfying and appealing and easy, we're going to provide coffee and bagels. Or something to make it motivating. So it's a little different, right? This one, you're using that pizza or coffee or whatever as like, a reason to make this meeting appealing and satisfying, as opposed to using it as like a reward for getting one single thing done.
Final question to, oh, Kathleen, no, you have your first. Sorry, Bonnie, I've only got one question. Kathy, it's you, Kathleen. Yeah.
Arm wrestle.
Hi, Emily. It was a fantastic presentation. And in addition to everything else you do well, you're a fabulous public speaker.
Thank
so
you.
my question is regarding verbal habits. I mean, I'll use the example of, let's say, public speaking, the ooh, the ah, the I have a couple of ones that I use all the time that are annoy the heck out of me. So anyway, how would you change verbal habits?
Oh gosh, that's a
That's a
hard
hard
one.
one,
Ooh, I'll have to noodle on that one. I don't know, because you know, if you were to incorporate the habit-breaking principles, you'd have to make it somehow unattractive, unsatisfying, difficult to do. It's very easy to do, right? You're not gonna make it that harder to do, but maybe you could have someone in the audience who's like shining a red light at you every time that you do, right? And that's gonna bring it to your attention. It's gonna feel very unsatisfying. So you'd probably have to train yourself quite a bit on that. That's a great question.
Ladies and gentlemen, Emily Roben. Let's do a quick photo. Oh, we're gonna do it. I'm gonna stand right here so we're not missing. And as usual, we have made a gift in your name to the Trash Punks to keep that one bag of garbage out of the creeks. And of course, I know you're a baker. Yeah. So you get the premium, highest quality walnuts from our local orchards from Carl Silker and Silker Orchards. Thank you so very, very much.
Thank you for having me. Happy to take more questions.
All righty. I've got a couple final thoughts here. You know, we get this Rotary magazine in our mail. Sometimes it just goes on the mail pile, but actually, like, open it. There's some good stuff in there. This week there is a, Jeff, synchronicity, you and I. What'd you open up with today? Where everybody knows your name. We didn't even talk about this, and then Leslie put this in my hands yesterday. It's an article about the third space, and those are places where we've got our workplaces, we have our homes, and then there's the third space. So Rotary is that third space. Take a look at that, and thank you for joining us in your third space and making it a vibrant place. You're preventing loneliness, you're preventing isolation for yourself and others. I appreciate that. And next week, our speakers are going to be David Solo, and he's going to bring an athlete with him, Justin Voltaggio, and he is the president and CEO of the Special Olympics of Northern California. Snaps to the program committee for getting Olympics in during the Olympics. Wonderful job. And I really don't have any other final thoughts other than we are adjourning on time. Thank you so much. See you next week.